and play. Ooh. Bless you. Alright, um, so about WordPress, you probably already know, but let's just go over really quick. WordPress is a content management system, or CMS, and it's a most well-known website developing tool which offers you to create different types of beautiful websites using its plugins and themes. You can create your own plugins, your own themes, and it is open source software. So first, when you hear content management system, it means that there is some sort of backend created for you, for users to manage their content, right? I mean, to write pages and post without touching any code and stuff. So that's how WordPress uh, became like, it was for blogging, and it just grew so much after that, with people uh, expanding it and using it in different ways. When you hear open source, it means that hundreds and thousands of people around the world are working in uh, developing it and making it more secure, and everything. The whole WordPress core code is available for everyone. You can go and dig into WordPress and find out whatever. You can see how it's built. It's just complicated, right? But it's available to you. So also, whenever you build something in WordPress, you should make that open source as well. You should share your code with people. And really, community around WordPress is amazing. And we have very good WordPress conference here in San Antonio happening every fall. And I really encourage all of you guys to go. It's like $20, I think it was, ticket for 2 days. But you can hear tons of different things, and you can see how people are really, the community is awesome. Everyone wants to share stuff, and even if you go online and search for a problem, you will see how many people are responding to all this stuff, and it's just great community. And I found these statistics from the v3text.com, um, how much WordPress is used in internet, right? So it's 30.2% usage. So every third site on the internet you go today, it's WordPress. That's huge. That's so much work that you can do, out there. It's somebody needs to build that and maintain, and just a lot of work, a lot of so it's big gap between the WordPress and Joomla or Drupal or Magento. Look how big difference is. And since February 2018, they say it grew for 0.3%. It's gonna get even bigger, because it's so flexible. It's so easy to set up. Like every host has like one-click installation or whatever, and you can have beautiful website and filling it with content without even needing to know any coding. Uh, you don't even see the code. So, but what we're gonna be doing here in the class, we're gonna you all are already used WordPress, like no code, but we will do code here. We will change it, customize it. We will build our own theme. We will use some other tools along the way, so you can have like a really good understanding how WordPress actually works. So the confusion I had when I started, and I'm sure a lot of you maybe were there too. What is WordPress.org and what is WordPress.com? So if you want to start right away with WordPress without having to worry about server or anything like that, you go to WordPress.com, you sign in for account, and you automatically get WordPress installation on their servers. They take care of everything for you. Um, the only thing here, I mean, of course, you need to pay for subscription when you want to get like premium stuff, but also a lot of themes and plugins are not available there because they're so strict about how the themes and plugins are written and the way the code is executed and stuff like that. So not a lot of things you can install there, but still there's tons of stuff you can use. So that's a simple, easy way that I don't recommend. We should go this way. This is our world, right? So this is where you download WordPress core and you set it up on your local host or on the server, and then you can go and change it and customize it the way you want. So really quick before before we go on, I kind of try to get something for you guys. Let's see. If you go to this website really quick, here, there is a little poll that I created, so you don't have to do assignment at home or quizzes. We can do this one together, and I'll post this in Slack, and if you guys can go right now and um, and just
say
sub
the URL out loud.
submit your. I'm sorry.
Say,
Yeah, just submit that answer, whatever you think. I'm not gonna see who said what, but my idea was if we do at the end of the class, if we do like 70% or more on these questions, we get like extra day of assignments. So instead of you have to do by Sunday, you can do it by Monday or whatever. So we do some questions here together.
So where do we find this?
I posted in Slack, but you don't have Slack, so you can use this MVC-WP-class.site. It's right. I don't know if I can't zoom in the.
I will go up and write.
It's MVC. Do you have Slack on your phone? You guys have Slack on your phone as well, or? No? Okay. You can get it.
Rudy deleted my account.
I thought I
on
saw you
Slack.
there. You really?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
I'll
because
send
I
you
had two of
invitation.
them and he deleted the wrong one.
I saw you were going by Jim or something, right?
Jim. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the new one. That's the one that you.
Yeah,
it's
except
active.
I can't log in now to the class, so I don't know. We can sort that out later.
Okay, but you got
Yeah, I
those.
have this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a simple thing. I just kind of try to doing assignments here instead of and we have so you can get Paul-2 if you want. That's the next one.
the email on that thing is set to alamo.edu or
The internet or
the nbcdigitalmedia.slack.com. Would it still go through?
you should have received the email invitation with your student. Yes, your student email. Do you have it still active? Or?
But the website says that enter your email address to get started
Mm-hmm.
dash at alamo.edu.
Yes. Oh, dash.
Like blank at alamo.edu. But our email is at student.alamo.edu.
So try, yeah.
What?
Both of them work.
Both of them work?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, whatever you receive,
Yeah.
I don't know how.
It confuses me all the time that the student is optional.
I don't know why
That's awesome.
they should have created. Whenever I want to join some other channel on Slack, it's kind of weird. It's not really useful. I don't see. I hope they improve it on Slack. I don't know. So you can go. If you are done with this one, you can go and just do the second one real quick. You're able to get it there?
Yeah, I got it.
So you can do Paul-2 if you want.
Yeah, I got that.
Oh, you got that one too? Good job. Well, I think the third one is for the next part. Yeah. Okay. All right. So just go really quick over this. How many of you guys have like local web server on your laptops?
Local web
All
server.
of you? Like web server on your laptops? You have? Rebecca, you haven't tried? Shall we? Have you have one set up already working? And Adrian, you?
Yeah.
Do you have your like a web server set up on your computer?
I do not.
Like XAMPP or MAMP or WAMP? No. Okay. We'll go over this really. It's very easy to set up. There are different ones. There's like XAMPP and MAMP and WAMP and whatever. I don't even know. It's probably tons more than tried. But I use the accent all the time, or XAMPP, or whatever it's pronounced. Uh, and it works well for me, and I would recommend installing it, but you can use any other that you find, like MAMP or VAMP. I know three of those are pretty good. And we will need to have one on your computers because WordPress needs database and web server in order to work. So for you to develop on your local computer, you need web server installed. So you can just go in, there will be a link in this presentation that I will send later. But also you can just search accent download or whatever. Um, for Mac, it's a little weird, a little bit. Accent, maybe MAMP is better for Mac.
Math is what I have.
So who has Mac? Maybe Mac is easier. But the installation will be very easy. It will be just next pretty much, and it will be up and running. So about XAMPP really quick is most popular PHP development environment. It's free. It installs Apache, which is web server. MariaDB is uh, open source MySQL database, which WordPress needs database to run, and then it installs PHP for you and Perl, but we're not gonna use Perl. So, it's easy to install, and then you have web server on your computer, same as host like Bluehost or whatever is doing for you remotely. That's what this will do on your local own computer. And you can find it on this site, ApacheFriends.org, or you just type in Google XAMPP download or XAMPP install. You can select your operating system down there, and then you just go next. Here you can select Apache MySQL. You don't need this here. I would recommend installing FileZilla. We will not do this is for FTPing files to the server from your local computer to remote server, but we will do stuff through Git. So we will try not to use, but you can install it because maybe you'll need it later on. I'm sure you will at one point. Then you can check PHP, and then PHP My Admin is like a graphical interface for you to interact with your databases, to create database or query databases. So you will need this. You will not necessarily need it right now, but you will need it at one point for sure. So install that as well. And MAMP and others also comes with that. So you will be good. This is just default location. Doesn't really matter the location. You can keep it default. Once you install it, um, it will start. It will look a little bit different on Windows from Mac, and Mac has volumes. So this is the startup screen on Mac, and you need to mount your volumes. So you get that like a file system that you need.
No,
On Windows, it's very straightforward. It creates a folder inside, and we'll go over everything, and you guys will see how it works. On these computers, MAMP is installed. So I'll show you where the files are and which folder you need to put files in to work. So we'll go over that after presentation. This will just we will record this one just so you guys can go back and kind of remember what we did if you need. Okay, so before we go to Git, real quick, if you can do the poll again, that poll 3, I think it is. Yeah, poll 3 will be the for XAMPP, and then that's it, and we'll do the other ones after. And don't worry, I might not have these polls next class. But I guess it's easier if we do it here now and you don't worry about it.
Did everyone get the email?
For Slack?
Yeah.
We can set it up later. I'll help you out. We'll go over it after. Don't worry about it now.
No, I think you have to add people manually to each channel.
I've sent whatever your student email, like Alamo email is. That's what I sent.
So it should be in a web link
invitation,
on the
yeah,
emails?
it should be. Okay.
Canvas has now become
Yeah,
instructor.
you don't have to worry about Slack now. I mean, well, we can set it up later on. It's just gonna be a place where we're gonna talk, and you can reach out to me every time, or to some of your fellow students. You can talk among yourself and collaborate and make stuff. Uh, it's just very good, and it's widely accepted in developers community. So every company pretty much uses Slack for communication on daily basis. So we'll in this class we'll also use Git, and Git is version control system, which means while you're developing and you're changing files, it keeps track of your changes. So in case you mess up something, you can go back and revert back to the previous uh, stage of your files. And also you can have other people contribute to your code. So you have like repository, which is base of all your code, and you submit somewhere in that remote repository, and you can allow people to work with you on that project and submit code, and you can see their code, and then you submit, and they can see your code, and you can merge, and different ways it can get complex, but it's a way where you control your work, and if you in case you mess up something, you can go back, and it's very valuable, and it gives you overview of your work and progress. And in every company you go, where it's the team, especially where it's team of people working on the same project, Git will be involved for sure, because that's how we all will be able to work on the same project at the same time.
I think you might need to send another invite, because I think the links that he's getting don't work.
Okay, yeah, we'll check. We'll try that after.
Which one did I number?
Before we leave, we'll set it up.
Okay.
So here is we need to install Git also. That's another last tool that we need on our computers. It's both available for Mac and Windows and Linux. I don't know if anyone uses Linux, but it's very easy to install. It's basically through command line on Mac. You might already have it on your Mac machine when you bought it. I don't know, but this is the command that you can check if you have it already. When you type git -- version in your command line, you will get this uh, response, and that means that you already have it installed, so you don't have to worry about it. But if you don't, then you need to follow these instructions here. Uh, it's basically one command, and you will have it installed. And we'll have that set up before we leave today on each of your computers. This is if you want to download the installation for Mac, it will go through basic um, installations like everything else. It's next, you don't have to worry about anything. Who has Git installed already? I guess the guy that has web server. Oh, probably have. Okay, so for the rest of you guys, we'll set it up before we leave, and it's already set up on those computers. But next class, we'll set up on your. Actually, no, you're gonna have to set it up yourself before
That's
you come
fine, I
next
can do it
time,
myself.
right?
You're gonna put the PowerPoint.
Yes, all these links I'll send that to you guys, and then you can just use these links or just search in Google, how to install Git on Mac or do you have Windows or Mac?
I have a Mac.
Okay, so it's easier.
I am there.
It could be there already, yes. So you run this command on your Mac, and if you get that response Git version 2 point whatever, then that means you have it, so you don't have to do anything. This is for Windows. You can install Git for Windows, and you can find the instructions here and download it here. But also there is something called GitHub for Windows. This will install Git for you, and also like a graphical user interface that you can graphically see, because Git is basically through command line you will do stuff, but there are GUIs that you can use to visually see like the little programs. That it's just easier, and I'll here some of the graphical user interfaces that you can use. Source tree, if you install this and you already have Git installed, you will see your work like graphically represented, right? It's kind of easier to figure out. This is useful for complex setups with Git. If you go to some bigger company and they have a bunch of process flow, like who create branches and where to push code, and it's kind of complicated, this will help you out a little bit to make sense of all that mess. But if you do on your, I will recommend you to always use Git when you do development on your computers. Even though you're by yourself, it will help you out in a year from now. You can go back and see what you actually did, all the steps, or you mess up something, you can always go back using Git. And then let's say your project grows and you want another person to jump in and help you out, you can just add them to the repository and they can pull the code down and they can start working on stuff. And it's just a great thing to start getting used to. This will get installed if you when you get GitHub desktop on Windows. Um, I use this when I use graphical user interface, Kraken or whatever it's pronounced. I think it's Kraken, I guess. So you can check that one out if you want. And then that's about installation. We'll go over commands really quick, and I know it's gonna be like, what is this? Like you're not gonna remember half of them probably, or none of them, but don't worry about it. I just listed them here so you have them, and then we start typing them as we work, and you will remember them easier that way. So you have to create. So their thing repository is like a folder. Imagine a folder with files in it. That's a repository with code usually, but it can be whatever. And there is one on your local computer, and there's one that you can set up on, remote on GitHub or Bitbucket. Those are the two most uh, the best ones out there. So we will use either GitHub or Bitbucket. It's up to you which one you want to use. So to create to create repository on your own computer, you start Git init. We go to the folder, let's say WordPress root folder, and you type Git init. That will create repository, and Git will know that you want to track whatever is going on in that folder. Um, you can check out or download, let's say, some repository from remote server, and you can add it by doing this command, git clone. So every command starts with git, and then you have init as initialization. It to initiate stuff, and then clone is to download or clone whatever it's in the repository to download it to your computer. Um, and then when you change stuff, and we'll do that right after the presentation. We'll make some changes and we'll see how that looks like actually. But those are the commands to add whatever files you changed. You run git add for one single file, or git add period to add all the files that you changed to the staging environment. So it's not submitted anywhere yet. It's just prepared to be submitted, either to your own repository or to your remote or somebody else's remote repository. Um, then right after that, to actually commit these files to the repo, you need to run this command, git commit -m, and then in quotes you put the message. And always you always want to try to kind of be descriptive there, to explain really quick what is that you submitting, like what kind of changes you made. Is it like, oh, I changed the header section of the homepage, and then this, and then you do all the changes in your code and stuff, and then you say, okay, I'm gonna add all the files, that I changed, and then I'm gonna commit them to the repository, and then you say here changes made to header section of home page, and you can describe it the way you like. But it's always good to describe it well, so in a year from now you will forget what you did there. So that message will kind of help you out. When you go through the commits that you did, the way you worked in your project, you will kind of it will help you remember what you did and to know what to look for. Um, but this, when you run this command, it's only committed to your local uh, repository on your own computer. It never went anywhere else yet, right? Um, so Git status will give you if there are any files left, they're changed, but you never committed them anywhere, and they will be in red, and you'll see how that looks like in a little bit. Then to push those changes to remote repository on remote server, you will need to add or to let Git know what that remote server is. So you will do that with git remote add, and then this is the kind of shorter name for your server. So server will be the full URL that you can find in GitHub. When you go in GitHub or Bitbucket, it will give you the whole long URL. So instead of having to type every time that URL, you name it somehow. And usually standard is to you name it origin for that remote, but you can name it whatever you want, ABC or my own project or something, But this is like a name for this server. So then when you wanna, the changes that you just did and you committed them with a previous message to your local, now you wanna push them to the remote server. And you would do git push, and then this is telling you what server, this how you say, tell git what server you wanna push to. So it's origin, and then this is the branch name. So in your repository, you can have like thousands of branches, which mean like this is your code grouped here, and then you have branch or somebody got all this code and kind of put it on the side and work on these things, and then they submit there instead of your original code, and then when you say okay everything's good, you can pull that code and merge it with the rest of the code, and now everything's done. This is used so somebody or yourself can work on some feature aside of the main code, and that's how all that. And I know it's confusing, and that's perfectly normal, but it will get very you will get it very easy as soon as you start typing those commands a few times. You'll be good. Uh, I just want them again to have in one place. So I always use this command. This will be, you can have multiple remote servers set up. So I don't remember them. I don't try even to remember. I always type git remote, and for each project you might have different servers. So I don't want to remember all of them. So you just go and type this command git remote -v, and it will display you all the remote repositories that you have set up and how you name them, right? Because you can't have two origins. So if you add another server, you need to name it differently. So instead of remembering how you named it, you just type this command and it will list for you. Um, branches. So I don't know. I'm not good with drawing, but so this is your master branch, and this contains all the code and all the files and folders of your WordPress that you submitted first time, and this is what lives on your production site. So this is everything. So instead of you working and messing around with this code here, you create a branch. So you copy all this stuff and you create separate branch, and you name it whatever, my branch or something. So it has all the stuff that master has, but you're working separately on these things. And then when you're ready, when you're done with stuff, you can or somebody else, whoever is doing that, job. If you're doing by yourself, then you review, you're sure that it's not gonna break it, you tested everything, you just pull this, back to the master branch. So now master has all this code plus this code that you did here. And it's very good someone else is doing the same stuff on something else, right? So they push their stuff here. So now master has all their stuff and all your stuff, and everything is bundled together, right? So it can get very complex. Depends on the team that you work with, and depends what kind of workflow they have. So what we're gonna be doing in this class is very basic. So it's just all these commands pretty much. We're not gonna do nothing crazy after that. So I don't even know if we're gonna get to create some branches and stuff. Probably just so you can try out how it looks like. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna have master branch in your when in your WordPress folder, and you install WordPress and you start changing stuff, and then you will commit those changes to your master branch, and then push it remotely. So each at the end of this class, you will have set up GitHub or Bitbucket, your own repository, which is remote. So you will have your own on your local, and you will have remote, and then you when you after you deploy to your local, you will push to the remote server, because next class I have set up, like I said, servers on in the cloud for each of you, and then you will log into that server using command line, and it will be confusing again a little bit. I know that it's scary when you see command line and all the commands, but the philosophy is simple, right? So you have this living somewhere on the internet, and you have it living on your own computer, and then now you want to do the same thing to that remote computer or server. So you will log in here, and you will do the same git commands, and instead of git push, you're gonna say git pull from here, right? So from this remote, you pull all the code to your remote server, and then your site will get updated with the new code. And if something happens, doesn't work on your, you can always revert back to the previous version of the code, pull it back here, and then your site is up and running again. But you have all the tracking what is going on and what you changed, and people use it for everything. If they write songs or whatever together, it's you can do whatever you want, not just for code. You're gonna use it for coding, but that's what it's used the most for. So really quickly, we went through this stuff here. Oh, uh, okay, so we'll go over these comments again. This is how you create branch, what I was describing here. So you do git checkout -b, and then you name your branch, and this will create branch only on your local computer. It's not going to be anywhere else yet, but once you push stuff, it will create on the remote server. So you do git push origin, and instead of master we did last time, now you just say, okay, I want to push to this branch, and it will go ahead and create for you that branch on the remote repository. And there are a lot of tools you can go and learn Git. Some of them are very nice interactive ones that you can kind of go and practice your commands very easily. And those are some of the links. I try to find the basic stuff, because that's what we're gonna be doing. But then you can always go ahead and like learn, expand your skills around Git. And I would recommend you to do that, not necessarily during the class if you don't have time, but after. Make sure you kind of expand your skills around Git. That will be required if you're gonna do any development work somewhere in the company. Everyone are like requiring that now. So it's not complicated as probably sounds right now. You will get it very soon. These are some of the links that I found that I like the best. You might find something else. Those are like interactive lessons. It has a little terminal on the website, and you just type different commands. This is coming from GitHub. So, does anyone use Atom for like a code editor? No, that's the Atom is created by Git. So people that created Git created that code editor, and I kind of use it. Since I got Mac, I use Atom. On my Windows sometimes gets kind of slow, so I use Sublime Text also. Um, but you can use Visual Code is another one that is good. You have to have some sort of code editor for this. So Atom is one, uh, Visual Code and Sublime Text.
Brackets.
I'm sorry?
Brackets.
Brackets. That's Adobe, right? Yes, it's Adobe.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's supported anymore, but
Oh,
it's still
okay.
usable. Or
Interesting.
you probably use Dreamweaver. You can use Dreamweaver if you have a license. But these ones are free, and Dreamweaver is kind of heavy, you know. And I've never seen, honestly, in real world outside of school that anyone is using Dreamweaver. I've never seen it in person. So I would recommend it. Those are lighter and faster, and tons of interesting plugins that you can use that people kind of develop for development purposes. Um, so I guess we need to go. You all installed WordPress, you said already, or someone that never installed WordPress on their own computer? Rebecca, you said you used it online only. Okay. It's very easy. It's like known by 5 minutes, 5 minute install. So it really takes 5 minutes to install WordPress. So you would start XAMPP, and then you would start Apache MySQL, which is database, and then you have all that, everything's running that WordPress needs. So all you're gonna need is on Mac. XAMPP is tricky a little bit. You need to go and enable this. I don't know if anyone. But you guys said with Mac, you guys said
Map
you have
is pretty
Map.
easy.
Okay.
Yeah. You just have to have the database set up prior to the.
Yes, but I mean, if you use XAMPP on Mac, you need to go and in Network tab, you need to kind of enable this manually. At least for me.
Yeah, I
So-
didn't have to.
So that's a little bit that I found it's not. On Windows, you just go to XAMPP, that little window that shows up, and you just click Start Apache, Start from MySQL, and you're good to go. So after that, all you need is to go to phpMyAdmin, and we'll do installation right now here, so you can follow along with me. Um, and then phpMyAdmin is this graphic interface for interacting with your databases, and it's once you start your web server, it will be always localhost, and then to get to phpMyAdmin, you go just localhost /phpMyAdmin, and then here are all those are the default databases. I have that one created test, so you would click on new to create new database, and you just name that database, click create, and you're good. You created a database, and WordPress will do the rest. So I just named, for example, MVC _ WP, and I just click create, and it's created. After that, you go to WordPress.org and download WordPress package, like the whole WordPress platform, and then if you use XAMPP, your web server folder, where web server will look for any files to serve, is called htdocs. In MEMP is www. I think in the other one, WAMP is public _HTML. But whichever you decide to do, we'll find it, and I'll work with you to have it. So you need to create a folder inside this folder and name it whatever your project is. Like you can name it my personal portfolio, for example, or something like that, and then you unzip these WordPress files inside that folder. And after that, we find this file, configuration file, and we will open it and edit the database name. We'll type here what we created earlier. Whatever database we created earlier, we will type here. Username by default, if you don't change anything when you're installing the web server, will be root and no password. So we will just delete this password here. And this is all, so 3 steps, and you will have your WordPress up and running. So once you do these changes, you save this file as wp config. So you just get rid of -sample. This is just a sample to give you like a start. So you once you made these changes, you just save it as wp-config.php. And then when you go to localhost / and then your folder that you put WordPress in, you will get WordPress install screen like this, and your WordPress is ready to go. You just click continue, fill the information for your site name, all that stuff, and click finish, and you will have WordPress up and running on your local host, same as you would do on Bluehost or any other remote server, right? And then from here, you can make changes on your site on your local computer, and once you are like happy with the changes, you push to Git repository, and then you can push it to production to that remote server. So instead of doing stuff directly in production, you mess something up and your site is down, and you're like, oh, you can develop locally, and then you can enhance your skills on your own computer, on your own server, which is kind of good with that. So I have a little challenge here. I want to show you that 5-minute installation for WordPress is not actually 5 minutes. It can be 15 seconds. And we'll go to that part later in the course, like maybe week 4 or 5, something like that. But I just wanted to show you now. We'll go now. Before we do the challenge, I'll stop this recording here. Any questions you want to record? Or are you good? I mean, I know it's kind of a lot maybe at the beginning, but we'll go now around and make sure that we all install web server and even WordPress. So we're good. I can turn this off then. Okay.